Imagine a society where a small group owns most of the wealth while the majority works hard just to survive. Marxism is a political, social, and economic theory that tried to explain why this happened. It was developed mainly by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels during the 19th century. Marx believed that history is shaped by economic forces. According to him, the way people produce and distribute goods influence political, cultural, law, and social relationships. To understand society, Marx argued we must first understand its economic structure. Marxism is not only a method of understanding society, but also a guide for changing it. Marx believed that capitalism creates inequality, cooperative system. To explain how social change happened, Marx developed several important ideas. These include dialectical materialism, alienation, critique of capitalism, class struggle, and the vision of a classless society. Let us begin with the foundation of Marxist philosophy, dialectical materialism. Dialectical materialism is Marx's method for understanding change in nature and society. The term materialism means that material conditions such as food, resource, technology, and economic activity shape human life more than ideas alone. The word dialectical referred to the change through conflict and contradiction. Marx observed that opposing force exists everywhere. These opposing forces struggle with each other, and this struggle creates movement, development, and transformation over time. For example, new technologies may clash with old ways of working. Workers may demand better conditions, while employers seek higher profit. This contradiction creates tension, and eventually society adjusts to resolve them, leading to new social arrangement. According to Marx, history developed through such conflict. Feudalism gave way to capitalism because of contradiction within the feudal system. In the same way, Marx believed that capitalism contained contradiction that may eventually lead to a new social order. Dialectical materialism, therefore, provides the foundation for understanding social change. Once we understand how economic system shapes society, we can explore how capitalism affects individuals themselves through the process Marx called alienation. Alienation is one of Marx's most famous concepts. It describes the feeling of separation and powerlessness that many workers experience under capitalism. Workers often have little control over their work, their product, or the condition in which they labor. First, workers become alienated from the product they created. A factory worker may spend hours producing goods but does not own them. The finished product belongs to the capitalist who sell it for profit. Second, workers become alienated from the process of work itself. Instead of expressing creativity, many jobs require repetitive tasks performed under strict supervision. Works become something people must endure rather than enjoy. Third, workers become alienated from other people. Competition for jobs and wages can weaken cooperation and solidarity. Instead of working together as equal, people are often forced to compete against one another. Finally, workers become alienated from their own human potential. Marx believed that humans are naturally creative and social beings. When work limits these qualities, people cannot fully develop their abilities and talent. These experiences of alienation is closely connected to the structure of capitalism itself. To understand why alienation occurs, we must examine Marx's broader critique of the capitalist system. Marx acknowledged that capitalism increased production and encouraged technological innovation. However, he argued that this achievement came with serious social cost. The benefits of economic growth are often distributed very unequally. According to Marx, capitalism is based on private ownership of the means of production. Factories, machines, and resources are controlled by a small group of owners, while most people must sell their labor to earn a living. Marx argued that capitalists make profit by paying workers less than the value they create. The difference between the value produced and the wages received is called surplus value, which become the source of profit. As competition increases, businesses seek greater profit by reducing cost and increasing productivity. This can lead to long working hours, job insecurity, and economic inequality. While wealth becomes concentrated in fewer hands. Marx also believed that capitalism experiences recurring economic crises. Overproduction, unemployment, and market instability can create hardship for workers, revealing weaknesses within the system itself. These inequalities and tension do not remain hidden forever. They generate conflict between social groups, leading us to Marx's famous doctrine of class struggle. Marx famously wrote that the history of all societies is the history of class struggle. Throughout history, different groups have competed for control over wealth, resource, and political power. In feudal societies, the main conflict was between landlord and peasant. Under capitalism, Marx argued the primary conflict exists between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. The bourgeoisie are the owner of factories, businesses, and productive resources. The proletariat are workers who do not own this resource and therefore sell their labor in exchange for wages. Because the interests of these classes differ, conflict naturally emerge. Workers seek better wages and conditions, while owners often seek to maximize profit. This creates ongoing tension within capitalist societies. As workers become more aware of their shared interest, Marx believed they would develop class consciousness. They would begin to see that many of their problems stem from the structure of the economic system itself. Marx predicted that organized workers would eventually challenge capitalist domination. This struggle, he argued, could lead to revolutionary social change and the creation of a new form of society. The ultimate goal of this transformation is not merely a change of ruler. Marx envisioned a society where class divisions themselves disappear, leading to a classless society. A classless society represents the final stage of Marx's vision. In such a society, no group would control the means of production for its own benefit. Economic resources would be collectively owned and managed. Without private ownership of major productive resources, Marx believed exploitation would disappear. People would no longer be divided into owners and workers, reducing economic inequality and social conflict. In a classless society, production would be organized to meet human needs rather than generate private profit. Cooperation would replace competition as the guiding principle of economic life. Marx also believed that individuals would have greater freedom to develop their talent and interest. Work could become more meaningful because people would participate in production as equal members of society. As class division disappeared, Marx expected the state to gradually lose its coercive role. Society would increasingly govern itself through collective cooperation rather than through institutional design to manage class conflict. Whether one agree with Marx or not, his ideas have profoundly influenced political thought, economic, sociology, and revolutionary movement around the world. Understanding Marxism helps us better understand debate about inequality, power, justice, and social change that continue today. If you are still watching, I hope you are finding this content useful. Please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thought in the comment. Your support motivates me to create even more content like this.